Powerful Couple Journey, where we talk about immigration process, especially with the J1 waiver through do-it-yourself. So today we're going to talk about the do's and the don'ts of the processing for the J1 waiver based on our own experience. I am not an immigration lawyer. This is just based on my experience through do-it-yourself process, and I am sharing these ideas that I have with our J1 Waiver Helping Hands group. And also the templates that we have is available with POWELLfulCoupleJourney.com. And if you are here, please support the channel through giving us likes, share, and subscribing to this YouTube channel, which is Powerful Couple Journey. Now, when it comes to the processing, most of you, I already have mentioned that I started coming here in the US in the year 2019. I already had the intention to really teach and explore America through the J1 waiver, through the J1 Teacher Exchange Cultural Program from the Philippines. Now, we don't have any NOS anymore. So, the moment I got engaged to my husband, and I already started listening, looking at videos, looking at sample things in order for me to start with the waiver process. I do really make sure that I know about the J1. Now, from the Philippines, we are already told that you have to know that the J1 teacher has the 212E rule or home residency requirement. It was imposed already to us. Now, if you have been blessed to have your U.S. citizen spouse or your U.S. citizen fiance, you need to tell them that that's the dose. You have to tell them that you have the 212E rule home residency requirement, which means you have to go back to the Philippines and fulfill the 2-year home residency prior to adjusting your status, even though you already got married to them. So it's not a guarantee. It always has to be them involved with the process, because some Americans are indignant to know that you are subject to the 2-year home residency requirement even though you got married to them, and they were asking about that because they're a U.S. citizen, and it doesn't work that way. It's the law, and we J1 teachers have already been told prior to flying here in the US. So the don'ts would be, do not, please, if you are still on the process, please do not leave your visa sponsor. Please don't allow this one, because I know some J1 teachers, once they get married to their U.S. citizen spouse, they're thinking already, oh, I can do whatever jobs I can. No. As much as possible, please stay on your J1 sponsor. You have to be on status. With my case, I didn't leave my sponsor, not unless I already got my Form I-130 approved, and I am in the process of getting my J1 waiver, and that is already been a year and 7 months in the process with the J1 waiver. And you know, J1 waivers takes almost 2 years to process. So I know some of you have looked at the article that says those that are married to their J1, those J1 teachers that are married to their U.S. citizen spouse who are already here in the U.S. can overstay. Okay, you can overstay, but do not allow that to happen. Like, oh, I'm so confident, I'm so safe that I can overstay here because I have a U.S. citizen spouse. No, please don't do that. Here's the thing. There are J1 teachers who even hired a lawyer, got a U.S. citizen spouse, got U.S. citizen children, but still they got denied So how much more if you overstayed your visa here in the US? And I am just reading some of your comments with the J1 Waiver Helping Hands group. I'm not really sharing my ideas right away because I'm also working during that time. But someone mentioned about the FMLA. That's like the Family Medical Leave Absence, something like that. Here's the thing. You may or may not avail that benefit. Remember, when you file for your Form I-485, they're going to ask certain questions there if you have availed for benefits. Now, benefit is FMLA. Benefit is getting the waiver. Now, if you get a lot of benefits from the US country and you're not yet a resident and you're not yet a US citizen, do you think they're going to grant your benefit, which is the waiver? And that's the most important thing for us J1 teachers, especially if you're subject to the 2-year home residency requirement. So if I were you, please do not get any benefits at all with whatever things you're thinking about here in the US, not unless you get your waiver. So J1 teachers, this is a very crucial thing that you're gonna be doing. Please do the do's, don't do the don'ts. You have to always put a line on that one. It needs to be on status. You have to be in status. Even though it's so hard to teach, I've been there. I already stayed for 4 years, and after my 5th year, because I got my work permit already and I got my Form I-130 approved, I told my visa sponsor, thank you so much for the time that you have given me the opportunities, but I have to depart since I already got my work permit and my Form I-130 approved. You know, my visa sponsor, CICD Intrax, they're very nice. However, the program manager asked me, do you have any proof that you got your Form I-130 and other papers like the waiver? I told them I'm on the process of getting my waiver and I'm on the process of getting my adjustment of status, but what I can show you is I got my work permit already and I got my Form I-130. You know what they said in the email? They said congratulations on your endeavor and stuff like that. So here's the thing. They are really not willing to let you go. Of course, because they are getting 1,200 or plus more every year to renew your contract with them. And they also have to keep the integrity of the J1 Teacher Exchange Cultural Program. It's the law. That's why they have to make sure everyone else is following the rule. Now, I know some of the visa sponsor, I have to make mention, the EPI, and there are a lot of screenshots already in our J1 Waiver Helping Hands group that is asking, well, Miss, how about this EPI thing? I'm afraid because on their email it says, I will not even attempt to file a waiver, nor we're gonna have to make sure that you don't get married to any U.S. citizen. Well, here's the thing. You have to be strategic. Do not tell them. If I were you, you have to be very discreet with everything to them. I know J1 teachers, please, we have to do this. We have to make sure that in our group, J1 Waiver Helping Hands, some of you are keeping your privacy. I acknowledge that. And you're just reading notes. And then some of you are giving me a private message. Well, that's very good because that's your way of telling that, yes, I'm participating, but I don't want them to know that I am processing my papers. That's okay. Now, here's the thing. If you are on your 2nd and 4th year and you already got married to your U.S. citizen spouse, go for it. Get your J1 waiver process already. But if you are on your 1st year, please show some integrity of the J1 waiver. Tell them that that should be the thing. I mean, you have to show the commingling. You have to provide the joint bank account. Think about that. You have to have letters from your family. You have to start building that, and most especially your um, joint tax filing. I have one J1 teacher. One is from another state and the husband is another state. It's very hard to do because that has like a long distance relationship. So if I were you, if there is a time to change location and your visa sponsor is still saying yes and that's their jurisdiction, find your work as a J1 teacher to the location of your spouse. That way you're showing to the USCIS that there is really like two people in one household that are sharing expenses and sharing their life together. Because here's the thing, the green card are being abused already, not just from Filipinos but from different nationalities, because we wanted to have our good lives here in the US. We wanted to work and we want our family to get benefits from that. But here's the thing, we want this to have a very good reason to get a J1 waiver. So make sure you have your documents already. And then don't, please, do not, please, I'm telling you, be on status. Do not feel safe. Oh, I got married to a US citizen. I may not want to work anymore and just overstay because I'll be forgiven anyway. Well, here's the thing. You have a 212E rule stamped on your J1, visa and your passport. You can overstay, yes, if you are what? If you are J1, let's just say a student. Because they don't have 212E rule from that. Or an F1, they can overstay that and they could get married. But for J1, please make sure you are still on status. That way, you will not have any more problems during the process. Because I'm telling you, based on our experience, I got a lot of RFEs, requests for evidence, with my I-485, I-612. The reason for that is nobody told me about the process. I don't have an immigration lawyer. I do not have any guide. So this YouTube channel, POWELLful Couple Journey, is the one that is helping me, helping you to process all the papers. And somebody's asking, what are you talking about? Well, this is about J1 waiver, the immigration process of the DIY that I did, and now helping J1 teachers. So, again, stay on status and please, as much as possible, do not overstay. If you got married in your second year and fourth year, submit. If you got married in your fifth year, then process all documents. Start with your Form I-130 with the USCIS, Form I-612, Form I-765, Form I-485, Form I-130. Then submit your DS-3035 and especially your advisory opinion. If you are in the hospitality management as a J1 and you got stamped 212E rule, home residency requirement, please get your advisory opinion because you already have one successful J1 that is in the hospitality. She is not subject to the 212E rule, and the agony of waiting for 2 years is like she doesn't have to deal with that. So please make sure you have your advisory opinion is free, and all you need to do is to pay towards the fee for the USPS. So that's all you need to do. Now again, those stay on status as much as possible. Do your work as a J1 teacher and be quiet. Don't tell your visa sponsor. So the don'ts is you overstay. Please do not do that. Or get any benefits like FMLA. Do not do that. Because J1 teachers still get the benefit as the J1 waiver. So if you really have to study the USCIS, here's another thing too. The very tip that I have to tell you, overwhelm them. Put it in your mind. Overwhelm the USCIS and the Department of State with your evidences. That means submit your psychological evaluation, submit your monthly expenses with your joint accounts, with your joint return taxes. Submit Filipinos, friends, family that know about your relationship. Submit pastor's letter if you have. Submit medical letter from your doctor if you have. Submit a lot of evidences that are showing your commingling, pictures, what else, stamps or cards. Print it, show it to them, and make sure that you are putting it in the right yellow paper. So I have this one right here. This is what I have put my papers in. So you just have to make sure you labeled it here. During my time, I labeled it here, and I labeled it here as well, and put it there. Let's just say Form I-485, adjustment of status, your name, and USCIS, and everything. So you have to make sure you have all those papers. And think about this. In order for you, in order for you not to have like agony of waiting, look at the processing time with the forms you submitted. Like for example, Form I-130. What is the processing time for that? Form I-485 or Form I-612. What is the processing time for that? Now, some of you are asking in our J1 Waiver Helping Hands group, I already submitted my DS-335 and it still says pending and just received and nothing else. Well, if it's already 4 to 6 months, because that's the processing time, and over that, you can ask your state senator or state congressman, because that's what I did. I asked them and I told them, hey, it's been over a year already, because during that time, the processing time for the DS-35 in the year 2022 and 2023 is 12 months. I told them that it's already past 12 months. So can you please help us out? Which they did in the state of Florida, because I'm here in Florida. You have to tell them that, or else they're not going to help you. So you have to reach out to your state senator, reach out to your state congressman, because they can help, especially election time. With the presidential election, they are there to help you. You are their best friend. So take advantage of that one. And think about of this one. It's you who are getting the benefit. And it's the burden with your U.S. citizen spouse or your U.S. citizen child. Think about that. And all your papers, if you got your master's degree or your doctorate degree, or you get a thesis, think about that as your thesis. Put that one into consideration. Like you are giving all. Because it's better, okay, put it in your mind, it's better to overwhelm the USCIS officer and the review division officer rather than not having evidences at all. So what's the maximum length of the J1 waiver? Again, the processing is 4 to 6 months, but sometimes it could go all the way to 1 year. So just make sure you have everything that you have filed already. So the other thing too is, think about this. Think of the totality of your circumstances. The totality, everything. What do you mean by that, Emmary? Think about this one. What's the hardship of your husband? Or what's the hardship of your wife or your spouse? Medical hardship, emotional hardship, physical hardship, psychological hardship, language barrier. Think about that. Now, how about if you're gonna go back to the home country, just like the Philippines? What are the hardship? Again, language barrier or cultural differences or safety of your U.S. citizen spouse. Think of that. Or let's just say you are in a small island, just like what I have in the Philippines. We are in a small island, very far from Manila. Transportation is not that much. Tell them that. You are going to give the story. Again, overwhelm them. Here's the thing. The USCIS officer and the review division officer is not your friend. Think of that. They are not your friend. So go there with your papers like a lawyer. Show them, overwhelm them with your evidences. Now, I'm not pushing you, but we have our evidences there in POWELLfulCoupleJourney.com, and those are all our things that we have. Start with a checklist. That way you know, oh, these are the things that I have to prepare. And you do it on your own because every case is unique. It's unique to yourself. So make sure that whatever you have on your paper is your love story. It's your story with your spouse. So think of the totality of your circumstances. Okay, so 3 takeaways. 1, do not overstay. Be on status with your J1. Be quiet. When you process, don't tell your visa sponsor. Number 2, overwhelm them with your evidences. The USCIS officer and your review division officer with a DSR 35. And also pray for this because you don't know who will be your case handler. Always pray because that is the power that you're gonna be sending to God and telling God, please Lord, I'm asking you to have a very good case handler. That way he or she has a heart to understand my case. And 3rd, totality of circumstances. Think about your own situation. Your case is unique. Think about this, like every stars in earth. There's a movie about that. You are special. So you are special. So think about the special things that you have for your waiver. So think about the totality of circumstances, psychological hardship, which is you need psychological evaluation, medical hardship, physical hardship, emotional hardship, health-wise, language barrier, safety, and everything that you could think of. And make sure you have evidences with everything. So for those that are J1 teachers, I'm praying for you. If you have your U.S. citizen spouse, congratulations. This is the time to gather the evidences and it's unique to your case, unique to your situation. Powerful Couple Journey is here to help you with a J1 waiver helping hands group in Facebook. At the same time, we have our website, POWELLfulCoupleJourney.com, where you could check our checklist and all other things that you would like to check. That way, you will also be successful with your J1 waiver to get me a green card, and soon you will be a U.S. citizen here in the United States of America. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless you. Bye!